This is The Clash, where the real world clashes with a true Christian worldview. Join former professional wrestler Chris Whaley, known as the Masked Saint, who is an author, pastor, and teacher that brings his wrestling skills into the squared circle and tackles real-life issues. Along with Jeff Dixon, best-selling author, internationally known teacher, leader, and pastor who is not afraid to tackle the tough issues of the world we live in. Together they form a tag team of wisdom in The Clash.
Hi, and welcome to The Clash, where we take a Christian worldview and allow it to clash into the culture around us. And when we're done, hopefully we say something over the next few minutes that will educate, entertain, and maybe inspire you. I am Jeff Dixon. I am just warming the chair here because the real talent for this show is sitting on the chair opposite me. It is the one, the only, the saint himself, Chris Whaley. Chris, looks like you've been in a fight, brother. What'd you do?
Skin cancer, man.
Oh, man.
I had a battle with
Sorry.
Skin cancer and I lost.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
at least your wife didn't punch you.
Yeah, and I'm going to look this way for the next couple weeks. So
Okay.
just don't feel sorry for me or anything like that.
We weren't going to do that.
No.
Okay. Just wanted to.
we got a great show today.
Yes, we do. Why don't you
We
tell
have
us
a
what we're
great
going
show
to do
today. We're on Abundant TV. This is our fourth season, and the reason that we're on Abundant TV is because of our guest today, who is the owner of Abundant TV. His name is Rob Patz. Rob, it is so great to have you on The Clash finally.
Wow, this is awesome to be with two legends in their own mind.
I got to tell you, Rob, I'm a little bit nervous, though. It's kind of like bringing the boss in, right? It's kind of like take your boss to work day here or something, right?
No, I've done a lot of television over the years. It's what I do. And I have to tell you, I was super excited about this because you guys have really good talent usually on as guests, and then you have me on. And I mean, it's like a deep slide. I told my wife, I said, wow, they must be like at the bottom of the barrel for the week, so they decided to bring me on. And
well, no, Rob, I think it's more along the lines of, everybody that comes on compared to Chris and I looks uber talented, right? So the bar has gone up now. People will walk away and go, Rob, he was incredible. Did you see that? So, yeah. So,
no, I doubt they'll do that. Because I was looking, I watched the one with Jeff Jarrett and I thought, holy cow, this guy's like world famous. And some of the guys you've had on, Mark Merrow and all those people, and you've just done so fantastic. It is actually one of the shows that I catch every week. We love it so much that we play it not only on Monday nights, but we play it throughout the week in different time slots so more people can find out about it, because we love what you say, the mission for what you do the show for, and it's so good to be here.
Okay. Well, it's great to have you. And we want to start it off. What was the original spark behind Abundant TV? What problem were you trying to solve when you started it?
Well, that's a great question. So I take you back about 5 years ago now, a little over 5 years ago. And for those that don't know, and most of your audience probably doesn't know, what I do for a living is work with ministries, helping them get on TV. We help with content creation. We do a lot of that. We've helped over 300 ministries over the last 25 years get on television. And so one of my clients was talking to me and said, Rob, I've been praying, and I think this is an area that you'd really shine in, which is called app-driven television. And I didn't really know a lot about app-driven television. I knew a little bit. I knew about Netflix and a few other things. I started doing the research. I started looking into it, and I really started to pray about it, because first and foremost, you got to cover anything like this in prayer. And I did. And we started to pray. And so the next part of the story is it wasn't just my decision alone. So at that point, I was engaged. Now, nobody ever told me this, and I blame all men everywhere, that as a married person, because this was my first marriage and my wife's first marriage, that I only get one big ask and then the rest are no. And nobody told me this. So my big ask was for a TV network when I should have asked for a Porsche. because that's what I really wanted was the portion, not the television network. Though God had a bigger plan. The interesting thing, my wife is a lawyer and does fantastic work, and so I knew she was very analytical, right? So being a person who normally doesn't study or do any write notes or do anything like that, I set up a complete argument. I had everything, guys. I was set. I had points, sub points, points that had sub points, and I was ready for that. And I said, "Hey, baby," and I was in Seattle at the time, and she was here in Ohio. And I said, "Hey, baby, what do you think about starting a Christian television network?" And wouldn't you know, she goes, "Yes, let's do it." I said, "No, you've got to say no so I have like 2 pages of stuff." She said, "Well, I'd like to hear it." I said, "No, now you can't because you said yes before." And that was how it got started. We actually were engaged, getting ready to get married, and we started putting all the wheels together, and actually launched in May of the next year in 2022. And it was to fill a need, and a lot of what we say is, and I love that. What was the reason? What were we doing it for? What was the fill? I truly believe that we can help uh, support the gospel in different ways. Shows like yours,
Mhm.
which aren't on a lot of Christian networks or wouldn't be on Christian. And we love what you guys do. And that was kind of what we did. And that's why our slogan is changing the way you think about Christian television. Because Christian TV shouldn't be boring. We,
Right.
we shouldn't, as Christians, be boring. It should be fun. It should be entertaining. And I mean, I look at you two and you entertain me just looking at you. So I mean,
That's good. Hey, and I
so
got to tell you,
so
I was thinking, Chris, in all your years of ministry, okay, when a husband gets the one big ask, have you ever heard anybody say in your ministry their one big ask was to start a TV network?
Never.
Never. That's a first. That's a first. So this is a first for us. This is great.
see, and I'm blaming all of you men out there, and there are a lot of you because I used to go to a lot of churches and speak, and not one of you warned me during that I get one big ask. Nobody until after I got married go, "Oh yeah, that's your one big ask. You're done." And I'm like, "No, I wanted a Porsche. That was my big ask. I was going to turn a certain age, and I wanted a Porsche." That's gone, ladies and gentlemen. There is no Porsche in my garage in the near future.
Well, so now when you ask about stuff or you want to do stuff, is the response, "No, you got a TV network"?
Well, no, it's usually, "Oh, that's nice." It's a delayed.
I love it. I love it.
And see, I'm a car guy. If you didn't notice from the Porsche thing, I'm a car guy. So I'll send cars to my wife and she'll go, "Yeah, that's an old car." I'm like, "That is a Mercedes. That is not an old car. That is," or whatever it is. It can be a lot of different things. And she gives me a hard time. She does it on purpose now.
Hi, I'm Jeff Dixon, one of the hosts of The Clash, and that's where you're used to seeing me. But I'm also the pastor of the church at 434 in Winter Springs here in Central Florida. And we got something really cool that's happening. God is moving among us as a people. We are a church on the move, and we are a home for folks that are trying to touch and change the world. And we have one of the greatest opportunities before us we've ever had. We got space issues. That's right, we're out of space. And we're in the midst of what we're calling a space program. We're not building a building per se, because that would be, well, too easy to talk about. What we're doing is we're trying to create space so that we can do the ministry that God has created us to do, and the ministry that He's called us to do here in the Central Florida area. The Clash is one of the things that happens as a result of that ministry, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. We'd love for you to pray for us. We'd love for you to take a look at what we're doing, and we would love, if God leads you, to invite you to contribute financially as well. You're right, I'm asking for money. But hey, if you feel guilty about it, you give. And if you feel really guilty, give more. But the website at the bottom of the screen will take you to our website where you can find out all you want to know about the space program and so much more. And so take the time and visit with us. If you can be a part of that space program, we would love to have you a part of that journey. Look forward to seeing you there and visiting with you online. Yeah, okay. That's great.
Take it away.
Well, I mean, Abundant TV is obviously something you're called to. Tell our audience, because this is a piece that maybe they don't know, that we don't know. What in your background brought you to that moment where God kind of put you at that crossroads to call you to this? Because it didn't just happen overnight.
No, it didn't. And so that's such a cool question, because I was talking with somebody the other day about it. It's my life. Really, my dad was a pastor. So I grew up in a church, in church. at 13 years old, I felt calling, and I thought I was going to be a pastor, which that would have been probably the most disastrous thing that could have ever happened to anyone. To me as your senior pastor, can you imagine how the sermons would go? If just look at this interview, it would have been just like on fire from this time I started till I ended. But I felt called to do something, and even to the point, I went to school, to Bible school, to be a pastor. I was going to do it because the one thing I can stress to anyone that's listening, if you believe God has a calling on your life, do not just stand still, move forward, because it's so many times in the Bible that it says, then they took action, or they went, or they did. So I did. I went to school for Bible school, lasted one day, went, this is not for me. This is not where I'm supposed to be. And I knew it. And at that point, I wondered, and I look back and I talked about this, is I wonder if he wanted me to be willing. It wasn't that that's what he wanted, but that he wanted me to be willing and really be disciplined to say, I'm going to do something that I really not sure this is exactly what my calling is, but this is it. I went one day, came back home, and my parents who are very goal driven people. They were super goal driven, went, okay, well, now you can't go to school anywhere for 3 months. You better get a job. And so, because you're not staying around here just doing nothing. And so I went to work through a mutual friend of my dad's. My dad was on a local Christian radio station, and I got a job there, and I was terrible. I may have been the worst hire they ever had at the time. Thankfully, they were very understanding, and over the next period of time, I became really pretty good at radio, and got a chance to do that. So about 5 years into that calling of really seeing that there was a media thing, I had several ministries that I was working with when I worked at the radio station, and they said, "Hey, listen, we need a consultant. We need somebody to help us on a regular basis." And I had just finished, because I'd gone back to school and finished, and I went, "Okay, let's see what that means." And we sat down, and I launched my company 27 years ago now, and we help ministries. But all of that led to me helping develop ministries. Like I said, 300 plus ministries that we've worked with, helped me to a point that it all intersected in 2021. And I was like, this is it. It's strange, because I'll have people ask me questions, and I'm like, yeah, I do know how to do that. Or because I hated studying in school, and now it just comes naturally, because through a process of trial and error. And it's humbling to see what God has done. And I got up on this Monday previous, and I was like, this is what God has. This is where it is. And so I'm not young, so it didn't happen overnight. And it doesn't happen for everybody. I know people, and I'm one of those that in my mid 20s and into my 30s, I was like, okay, so this is kind of, I feel not complete, but I feel this is where God's leading me. It wasn't really until 4 years ago that I started feeling that this was a complete moment. And now I get to do something I love to do. I get to talk every day, which my wife will attest to the fact that I love to talk. And so I get to do that, and I get to talk and hang out with people like you who are doing great ministry, because we're a team. It's we started it, we kind of put the mechanism in place, but people like you guys and a lot of the other shows that are on our network are our team. This is, and I look at it almost like, and it's not, because I know the difference. It's not a church, but it's almost like an organization that everybody's got a role. Everybody's doing something. And the most important thing is, and I hope that everybody takes out of every program that we have on the network, is that you can live an incredible life if you ask Jesus into your heart. I mean, if you're saved, God has a plan,
Right.
and he's got a great plan for your life. And if you're struggling with that, if you're struggling with knowing what to do, is really to seek him and to really say, you know what, God, I'm really not that smart. Which I say very, very easily, because I'm not. But he is there, and he will do it. And that's my story, and really has become my story over the last 4 years.
Wow. That's cool.
Well, what makes Abundant TV different from other media platforms or networks in your space?
I think what makes us different is we believe wholeheartedly in generated programming that you can't find anywhere else. Um, like your show and like the show right before yours, Falls Count Anywhere. And
Mhm.
there are several other programs. I'm a part of a couple of them that are on the network, including the one that my wife and I do every, and I'm going to give a quick plug. Every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. You can watch us on. It's the Robin Kristen Show, and we have adventures. We do stuff, and we interview people just like you do, and we just have a great time. Usually, the cooking segments are everybody's favorite because I will ask her questions that anybody should know except someone who doesn't cook or bake. And so I'll ask her, so why are you putting that much in? And she looks at me. Those are the best. We go out and get a chance to go out and speak at churches, and people will say, my favorite part is either when you're about to tell a joke and Kristen's already laughing, and or when you're cooking. Those are their two favorite. And the
That's
funny
funny.
part is people think we script the jokes and stuff at the start of the show. There is no script. I mean, that is, and it scares Kristen because Kristen's kind of she's very organized, very, this is what she does. And so it scares the ever loving life out of her when I open up the show and she has no idea where I'm going.
I love it. It makes it an adventure. That's great.
Hey, that happens all the time with Jeff and I. Yeah, it does.
Well, he's a Kentucky fan, so you got to
That's right. You
got to give him grace there.
That's right. I love it. Chris, I was just thinking while we take a break here in the show.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could go somewhere and shop and get high quality merchandise that would have a lasting impact? Wouldn't that be good?
I think that would be absolutely awesome.
Well, I've got a suggestion for you because what is your favorite saying?
Don't tap out.
Look at that. How about a Don't
Holy
Tap Out
smokes,
t-shirt and
don't
look at the
tap
logo
out.
on the back.
What's on the back? The Clash.
The Clash. That's one of my favorite shows.
You know, it's on my top list too.
And people could go and buy this from our store. Now you say, how do you get to the store? Well, right now there's a QR code on the screen. If they use that QR code, they can go and they can buy, name something. We'll see if they can buy it there. What do we want? What to buy?
Probably, I want to get a long sleeve hoodie.
You know what? You can get a long sleeve hoodie there.
Really?
Yeah, and you know what else? If you had a baby tomorrow, you could get Clash baby gear at that
Onesies?
same store. Yep, you can get that. All of it's available at the Clash store. So if you haven't been to the Clash store, you're one of the few people in America that hasn't been there yet.
Yeah.
And so check it out. Buy our stuff. It makes us money. It makes us happy.
Yeah.
Okay. Go to the Clash store.
Hey, you been doing anything lately?
Oh, no. Well, yeah, actually I have. Matter of fact, if you like books, my second novel, Unlocking the Kingdom, has now been released this month as an audiobook.
So I don't have to read it, I can listen to it?
You can listen to it. Key to the Kingdom came out a year ago.
Yeah.
Now, Unlocking the Kingdom is out. Jessica Gardner, who you might have seen on Geico commercials. She's a regular on NCIS. She is the narrator, so she really performs the book. She's a rock star. She knocks it out of the park. She brings the characters to life. She does a great job. And she does the audio version of the novel. And so I'm very excited about it. Excited that it's out. It sounds great. She sounds great. It's been fun to revisit the stories again, and it's been a lot of years since I wrote that book, and so it lives on. And so if you are someone who loves audiobooks, check out Audible, Unlocking the Kingdom. Rob, as you now that you're into it a bit, and Abundant TV is now real, and it's going well, and this show aside, you've got some staples in the network that are going good. I mean, what has been, I guess, for you the most satisfying part of this thing? Because obviously, you're having an impact. Obviously, the people are watching on Abundant TV, I think. So there's also Abundant TV 2. I mean, there's programming that's available for you. I mean, what's most satisfying about this?
Wow, that's a great question. For me, the most satisfying thing I have to say is, and there's a couple stories that I'll share really quick. There is a lady, and I'm not going to use her name because she's a well-known Christian author, and we had her on our show, and she shared an email with us, and her mom is not doing well. Her mom is older, and her mom is basically bedridden now. And 24 hours a day, she leaves our network on because, as she put in the email, she said, "These are my friends."
Ah,
And
yeah.
and it was one of those moments where you go, "That's why I do this."
Yeah.
That is the reason. And the other was a lady from England who wrote to us. It's a few months back now, and she wrote and she said she was happy to find, and I'm paraphrasing the email, but she's happy to find Christian programming that felt real. And she said she had been going through a really dark place in her life, and it was just like it hit. It's one of those things because we get great emails of, "Hey, listen, you guys are funny," or "I love the programming. I love, everybody that's on there," and those are great. But it's when you get the impact ones, the people that might not be able to go out, and yet they feel like they're part of a community, because that's really,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, and something that I truly believe Abundant TV becomes a community. It's a group of
Mhm.
people. I could never do this on my own. And it's God's grace and God's strength that helps me to do it. But it's people like you guys, and there are so many others who take the time to invest in this and believe in what we're doing, and to believe in the fact that our numbers are crazy. And there are days where I just look at it and I go, you realize that that's like a small city of people
Yeah.
that watch every day, and even watch certain shows. Their numbers, you get just so humbled that and it's crazy. Or you hear stuff. There's some programming that we have that really impacts different countries. There's we did some sports stuff earlier last year, and it was huge in Africa, and it didn't get a lot of play here in the United States. Not a lot of people watched it or were that interested, but holy cow, we had a couple 100,000 people watching from Africa. And you're sitting there thinking, I will I will never get to meet all of those people, but I'm thankful that what we do here with Abundant TV touches those people. I can't physically talk to everybody. I would love to. And I say this often on a show I do called The Morning Break. I would love to meet every one of you and shake
Yeah.
hands and hang out and have coffee and do all those good things. But I can't, but we can do it this way.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Well, I got to follow up on that. I mean, how do you decide which stories or voices or creators get amplified on Abundant TV?
That's a great question too. I think a lot of this has been very serious for my wife and I. We pray every day in the morning and at night for Abundant TV. And when a program comes through, and when it we look at it with a very open mind, but we also look at it we want everything that we do to fall inside the spectrum of what we believe needs to be heard. That doesn't mean that any of those other ministries that aren't on our network aren't vital and important to the bigger picture of the gospel world. But we feel that God has given us this opportunity. So the lens that we want to portray to the world through Abundant TV, it has to meet our kind of, our field, our whether that's, my favorite scripture is John 10:10, and that's which I did not name the network, which is a funny story in itself. And I want to share that because it's kind of
Yeah.
ties to what your question. So we decided to do this. My then at that time fiance and I go to my mom, who was an amazing woman. And I said, "Well, so what should we call it?" And of course, she's an older lady at that time, and she goes, "Abundant TV." And I go, "Mom, we're never going to get the domain for Abundant TV. Got any other ideas?" And she looked at me, and of course, I'm an only child. She looked at me and she goes, "Robert, you need to go check right now." I went and checked, and Abundant TV was available. And I went, "Okay." And I said, "Well, in the future, I want to do conferences." She goes, "Call them Abundant Conferences." And I said, "Mom, that's not going to be around. They're not going to be able." She goes, "Go back and look." I went back and looked. it had been, somebody had it, and it had 2 days earlier it expired, and we got that too. So we have abundant conferences for in the future. And so that's it. So that's, to answer your question, we want people that, being a Christian does not mean you have to live sad. You can live an abundant life, and it doesn't, and so many people look at abundance in the wrong way, that they look at it as a financial thing, and there, that isn't it. That isn't, living an abundant life is looking around and going, it's pretty cool, the things I've got. God has blessed me. No matter what it is I have, that's pretty neat. I'm thankful for everything that God gives me, and that means I'm living a pretty abundant life. And that's, so that was kind of it. That's where we came up with the idea. That's kind of how we look at the folks that we have on, because we want people that are uplifting, because it and honestly, if you're watching for the first time and you don't know Jesus, it is the most important, in my opinion. There's no more important decision you can make in your life is to ask him into your heart, and to have that, because that right there is living an abundant life. Because anything else that happens, if you know that Jesus lives inside you, everything else can happen. We talk about things like Chris in the cancer situation, but we know that, God has got it no matter what it is.
That's awesome. You get to finish it up, man.
Well, yeah, Rob, we're going to run out of time here, so I want to follow up with you. I mean, unless, of course, the owner of Abundant TV decides we get to go into overtime, and then I don't know what that does to the shows behind us, but
we can do
No,
that.
it messes everything up behind us, so no, we can't do that.
I guess, so I think you're the guy that can do this. So, but at the end of the day, you mentioned Abundant conferences and stuff. I mean, I guess for our folks, just get a sneak preview. What's next? What's the vision future from here forward with Abundant TV and what you're doing and what happens now?
So right now, my wife and I have been praying. Started in September of this past year, and now currently, we're into, a few months into that. But we've prayed for community. I want to see this be a community of people, a movement of people that, realize that it is so important to spread the gospel. And the TV side has made me realize, probably more than ever, that the importance of touching people's lives. It looks like something I never wanted to do is go on a missions trip. I seriously, I prayed. I was a pastor's kid, heard everybody going on missions trips, and I went, God, that's not me. It looks like I'll be going to Rwanda coming up, and I did not want to. In fact, I hoped the person that offered to have me come to Rwanda would forget. She has texted me every week for the last 6 weeks, and it's an amazing opportunity. So for us, we want to see it build and grow. We want to do conferences. There's so much, but our biggest thing we've been praying for is really the feeling of community. We want people to feel like this is a great place to come, a great place to be a part of something and to connect in. And I think you guys would agree with me. I think one of the biggest struggles for men and women is feeling like they belong somewhere, like they have a place that, we, especially men, we put up these walls that I don't need anybody. I can do this all by myself. And the reality is we all need people. We all need, especially, fellowship with other Christians.
Yeah. Right. Wow. And so there's a feature coming. I can see it now. Rob goes to Rwanda. I mean, I know there is a program coming, right? Am I right? There you go. We got it right there.
Oh yeah, totally taking the camera. We're going. If we're going for it's like 10 days. If we're going for 10 days,
wow.
There's going to be a camera. Yes.
No doubt about it. I love it. I love it.
This went by too quick,
It did. It did.
It went by too quick.
Do you think he would come back on maybe another time?
I don't know. You can ask him.
Okay. Well, Rob, would you come back if you still let us stay on the air?
I would love to be back. It was so much fun. Thanks for letting me talk. That's what I love to do.
Well, man, it's been good.
Hey, listen, this is a great week. And if you've got Jesus, it's even better. And if you don't have Jesus, I hope that you find him this week. And if you want to know how, you just email us, and we'll be glad to have that conversation with you. So you go out, have a great week, and don't tap out.